Hello, everybody, and welcome. Today we have our end of season review and transfer special. Can we bring in some players to make us a little bit more efficient next season? Hello, it's a very warm welcome to episode number 20 of Where Eagles Dare as we manage Crystal Palace for the FM26 Beta Save. My name's Mark, and on today's episode, that end of season review and transfer special. How does the end of season review work in FM26? We're going to find out today, and we'll also find out who we are playing on the opening day of the new season. That's coming up in the next episode. More about that in a short while. Just a recap on our season, just a very quick recap. As we know, we need to go into here though in order to do it. We'll have a look at the competitions and what have you very shortly, but finished 5th in the table, 70 points, some 24 points behind Liverpool, who were champions, but to be fair, they were a good 22 points in front of Arsenal. Very tight for second down to 5th place. Just literally 2 points separating 4 teams, and then there was a bit of a gap, 8-point gap down to Chelsea, who finished in 6th place. As it stands at the moment, Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester City and Newcastle in the Champions League. We are in the Europa League. Chelsea will appear in the Conference League next season. Teams relegated from the Premier League were Wolves, Sunderland and Burnley. I think in a minute we can probably find out who will be joining the Premier League next season. If we go down here, go down one, go to the Championship. Coventry have beaten Sheffield United in the playoff final in that competition. Can we have a look at the league table? We can. Ipswich can come up as champions, 88 points, just separated on goal difference from Norwich, who will also promoted, as we've just seen. Coventry winning through in the playoffs. They finished 6th in the regular season and knocked out Sheffield United, Leicester and Hull falling by the wayside in the semi-finals, I am guessing. So that is who's coming up. Ipswich, Norwich and Coventry City we will face this coming year. A proper deep dive into the Premier League table. I think we'll do that now, actually, before I forget. Let's have a quick look then. Home record wise, we have to do a bit of a sort here because it doesn't sort for some reason. Where it used to always sort on its own, it doesn't sort on its own now. Our home record wasn't as splendid as we had hoped. 7th overall in the home records, picking up 33 points at home, 10 wins, 3 draws, 6 losses. Liverpool just losing twice at home, as did Arsenal, to be fair. Newcastle also had a very good thing. Manchester City didn't lose any games at home, but drew quite a lot. So that's how they ended up where they did. Liverpool home record 51 points they picked up at Anfield, 43 for Arsenal, 42 for Newcastle, and so on. The away record, if we have a look at that, our away record was a lot better. We were second best away from home, picking up 37 points on the road. 10 wins, 7 draws and 2 losses. Only 2 losses all season away from home. So that was rather splendid. 37 points, and that's how we ended up in 5th place. This coming season, our home record must improve if we are to ensure ourselves of a position higher up the league than we finished last season. But yeah, that's how it went. Liverpool, we were in 2nd, Manchester City 3rd, losing 3 games, Arsenal in 4th, and Newcastle 5th, and Chelsea in 6th. That's the away record. First half of the season, we were there in 3rd place on 39 points, some 4 points behind Liverpool, tucked in behind Newcastle. In fact, 4 points behind Newcastle. What am I about? 6 points behind Liverpool in the first half of the season. The teams relegated: Wolves, Sunderland, Burnley. Sunderland, Burnley were down the bottom there, even at the halfway stage of the season. Wolves were on the trapdoor, and Aston Villa in the mix. Second half of the season, we weren't so good in the second half, dropped off a little bit, only picking up 31 points in the second half of the season. In fact, we were 6th best in the second half of the season. Burnley, Sunderland and Wolves again down in that bottom era there combined. Of course, that's how it ended up. And the last 5 games, the run-in, that probably did for us as well, which wasn't rather splendid. In fact, let's just sort that out. Arsenal had the best run-in. Leeds, second best run-in, picking up 12 points from their final 5 games. Manchester City picking up 11 points. Liverpool 10 points, Spurs 10 points, Newcastle 10 points. We only picked up 9 points in our last 5 games. That is how it ended then in the Premier League for this season. Let's have a quick look at competitions. Here we are. That's what I needed to find. It's in, if anybody is looking for it, it is in match day competitions. There it is. Right, so we know all about the Premier League, how we finished. We expected to finish top half. The board happy with that. The Community Shield, we lost 4-1 to Liverpool. Liverpool, our nemesis for the season. And yeah, it wasn't all the best, was it really? In the Carabao Cup, we lost again to Liverpool. Did we lose to Liverpool? I think we lost to Liverpool. Did we lose? Hang on a minute. EFL Cup. Doesn't tell us in here, does it? Okay. Liverpool winning it anyway. They beat Sunderland 5-2 in that one. In the FA Cup. If we go back, can we go back? Yes, we can. FA Cup. We were knocked out in the third round by Bournemouth. Not knocked out by Liverpool at all. In the FA Cup, Everton and Spurs played the final. Spurs winning by 3-2 in that one. I think we went out in the... Did we go out in the third round? No, we beat Derby 4-2 in the third round. In the 5th round, we lost to Nottingham Forest by a 0-0. And that's 4th round knockout of the FA Cup. So a competition that we won in the previous season, of course. So that's not particularly splendid. And then in the UEFA Conference League, got knocked out in the semi-finals in the end, having gone through the round of 16, the quarterfinals, and ended up in the semi-finals, losing out to Vallecano by 5-1 on aggregate, losing 3-1 on that aggregate. And as we've just seen in the final, in fact, the final hasn't been played yet. So we're still waiting on that final result from the UEFA Conference League. Right, that's a bit of a roundup. As I say, don't do the usual things like it used to when you get them end of season review. In fact, have we got the end of season review here? End of season team meeting. End of season review. There it is. As I say, it doesn't really sort of give you that much detail. Competitions, well, that would have been the easiest way to have done it, Mark. Board were pleased overall. Supporters pleased. End of season, our balance was a little bit lower. Transfer budget 52. Yeah, so that's where we're at with regards to that. I think what we'll do now is we'll have a quick look and see where we need to do a bit of recruitment. If we go to the squad planner and have a quick look around, I think we can actually go for depth. So probably we've got 3 goalkeepers, Dean Henderson, Benitez and Remy Matthews. I'm thinking possibly we could do with a 3rd decent goalkeeper, maybe even Benitez dropping down into the 3rd position there, but another goalkeeper that's really going to test Dean Henderson. On the left side, we've got Mitchell, Richards, Riyad and Souza. I'm thinking Riyad and Souza are probably going to be moving out. So we definitely need a left back. On the right side of defence, we've got Richards, Manus, fact, that's the wrong order, isn't it? Manus is definitely top and Guy is definitely second. We've got two fairly decent right backs. I'm thinking possibly Richards can play over there if we pick up injuries. I'm thinking we don't really need another right back. More left back, because our left back is only really Mitchell, and Richards can stand in, but yeah, we need another left back. In a central defence, we got Guy and Lacroix. Again, Richards can stand in there, but if you take Riyad out of the equation, Canvot is a breakthrough prospect. He can play there, but he's probably not the best. Lerma can play in there as a bit of a backup. I prefer him in midfield, so possibly another defender. So at the moment we've got a goalkeeper, a left back, and a central defender. In midfield, we've got 8 choices in midfield. I think we're more than covered in that midfield. Possibly coming back in from loan, and that we might look to try and get into the first team squad. David Ozoch is a possibility for next season, so we'll keep one eye on him coming back from loan. And then on the left side of attack, again, we're almost sport for choice. We have 7 players on that right side, on the left side. Pino, Nketiah, Kamada, Sarr, out on loan at the moment. Raksaki, he could be useful when he comes back. S.A. Yarami, Jaden Dans can play out there. We really sport the same as in attacking midfield. That 10 slot, again, there's a number of players that are flexible across the whole of this attacking midfield. So I don't think we need anybody there. And yeah, as I said, with Jizuran Araksaki coming back from loan, he's done very well on loan. Gives us other options across that attacking midfield as well. Up front, we could possibly do with another striker, Nketiah and Mateta. I guess a lot depends on the transfer window and outgoings and what have you. If players are going out, then potentially we would look to bring in. And I am expecting Nketiah and Mateta to come under scrutiny again, and possibly bids coming in for them. One thing we have to make absolutely certain is if Mateta doesn't go out at this point of the season, if he doesn't sign a new contract, we will need to look to sell him at Christmas. In the January window, because if not, then we're not going to get any money from him. And bearing in mind he's worth about 50 mil, I think we need to be capitalising on that. So we'll see. If a bid comes in somewhere in the region of about 50 mil, we may consider, and then we would have to go on the scout for some more strikers. We may do that before we get there, just to be absolutely certain. So having made that decision, it's a goalkeeper, a left back, and a central defender in the main is what we need. A right back, if there's one going that can play left and right, excellent. But a left back is more important than a right back at the moment. They are pretty much the positions that we need to fill. Right, what we're going to do right now is, because nothing has happened transfer-wise, if I have a quick look at transfer activity, nothing is happening. It's all very quiet. In fact, if we go into transfer history, you will see the last player in was Jaden Dans coming in from Liverpool for 21.5 million. So they are the changes to date. What we're going to do now is we're going to jump forward a little bit. We'll come back with any news. And you come back and join me. It's the 1st of July in game, and you will see that the one in transfer in that we were expecting, Kristanas Uche, who'd been playing for us on loan last season, has come in permanently and joined us from forgotten where he's coming from now. Garaf, wasn't it? Getafe, where he'd played for a season, 33 games, 4 goals. Of course, last season, 25 appearances, 8 goals scored by Uche. and he's now in permanently. Hopefully he will be able to do the business again for us next season. Do we have any irons in the fire? Let's have a quick look. Transfer activity. Ins, nothing. Outs, Riyadh is waiting just to sign that one off. It's a season-long loan to Rangers, and we did say that we'd probably be moving him out. Marcus Hill, he's rejected his contract, and Zach Henry, looking at Horsham and Chesham as possible places to go out on loan next season, just waiting on contracts and stuff for that. Nothing else really to bring you up to date with, I don't think. Let's go in here. We have the fixtures for the coming season. We have 7 friendlies to play, finishing up, or starting with Wimbledon, finishing up with Olympique Marseille. And our opening 2 games of the season will be against Fulham, away from home at Craven Cottage. Then we are at home to Liverpool, our nemesis from last season. Lost to them 3 times last season in the Community Shield. And then we lost 3-4 at home, 3-0 at Anfield, and that's going to be a toughie match against Fulham. We beat them 2-0, both home and away last season, so we might be able to get off to a reasonable start, but the toughies start immediately after Liverpool. Then we have Brighton, who we couldn't beat last season, and Manchester United, who we didn't beat last season. So it's going to be a tough August, to say the least. Just remember that we have got European football to fit in there as well as Carabao Cup and such like. We finish our season away against Norwich and at home against Spurs. Coventry, one of the promoted sides, will be the other game in May that will see us towards the end of the season. And it's the run-in that is always a bit of a dodgy one. Around Christmas, we're Boxing Day, we're at home to West Ham. So we stay in London over the Christmas period. 29th of December, we are away to Brentford and then go down to the South Coast on New Year's Day for the game against Brighton. There is one other bit of news that I can tell you. If we can go into the Premier League, and we have this table here, but if we go across to the previous season, things have changed. We have managed to secure through all the jigglery around, they have been offered an extra space for the Champions League. And because we finished in 5th place, we will be in the Champions League next season. So finishing 5th was worth it in the end. Right, we're going to jump forward, I think, to about the 1st of August, when we will come back and see if there's been any transfer activity. You come back on the 29th of July with one friendly still to play, that against Olympique Marseille. And you'll see that so far we've had an winning pre-season. 6-0 win against Wimbledon, 5-2 against Mansfield, 7-2 against Wickham, 2-1 against Bristol Rovers, and a 1-0 against Lens of France. And as I say, Olympique Marseille is the last friendly to play. Still no news on either the Carabao Cup or the Conference League, the Champions League. Last season we had the Conference League, and all I want to say was Champions League. Now we've got Champions League. All I want to say is Conference League. We have brought in some players. The transfer market has started to move a little bit. Let's go to transfer history. As you know, Uche came in from Getafe. 16.5 million we paid for him, and then we've picked up a couple of players along the way. We've got our left back to work alongside Mitchell. We brought in Samuel Angori. He's come in from Pisa for £6.25 million. This is the player. He's can play on that left side predominantly. He's good at crossing. He's got a green for crossing, which is what we want. He's not particularly good at finishing, but It's not what I'm looking for. He's good at heading. His technique's good. So it's all in the yellows there. Pretty much yellows down this side. Anticipation is good. His positioning is good. His flair's not so clever. And then in physicals, he's got 3 greens in there for agility, pace, and stamina. So he's looking very, very useful. He has been playing in pre-season, and he's looking very bright, already up to 36 million. So good profit on him, even if he was to go fairly quickly. His form in the 2 matches that he's played against Lens, a 7.8, and he played against Bristol Rovers, also a 7.8. So we'll be looking for him to provide us with some good backing in that corner, and Mitchell's really going to have to fight for his place in that left back position. In fact, didn't tell you where he came in from. That was very remiss of me. Previously at Pisa, played 74 games at Pisa, only scored 2 goals. And then before that, he was at Pondera, 35 games, 3 goals. So played mainly in Italy during his career. So that's Samuel Angori in from Pisa. We have our left back. We also have a central defender, Radu Dragusin. I've probably pronounced that Dragusin. I will get that right before we get into the season. His finishing isn't particularly good, but you wouldn't expect it from a defender. His heading is excellent. His marking is excellent. His tackling is excellent. I get a big thumbs up for that. He's off the ball, isn't particularly clever, but he's got yellows, pretty much everything else. His physicals are good. He's got good agility. His jumping reach is fantastic. Stamina is good. Strength is good. He's not going to get pushed off the ball. So a definite 6'3", and will add a little bit of weight to our defensive line. As you remember, last season it was only Lacroix and Gay that really give us the impetus, and if one of them picked up an injury, I won't say we were struggling, but we had to use inferior players in that position. So Dragusin comes in. And previously, he's been at Spurs, which is where we got him from. He's played a number of games for Spurs, 36 games in 3 seasons. Previous to that, he was at Genoa. So we'll hope that he can do the business for us in that defensive line. Can play on the right side at a push as well. This player, we come in as a free agent, and I'll tell you what, he really has set everything alight with regards to pre-season anyway. Let's hope he continues it into the full season. Joel Ndola. He has come in. He's come in, as you'll see, stacks up. He isn't particularly good at marking. He's not particularly good at tackling, but I wouldn't really want him to do that there. Otherwise, apart from heading, he's a typical left winger. We can play on the right as well, but predominantly on the left. Stacks up reasonably well. His mentals are pretty good. He's not a good leader. His positioning is a bit wayward, but his determination and flair is good. And then when you look at his physicals, his balance isn't particularly good. His jumping reach isn't very good, but then that'll to do his height. The only other real problem is his strength, but his stamina, his pace, acceleration and agility are good. He's good down that left wing, and would give us a little bit of impetus. Coming from Hull, pretty much most of his career in England, played in Holland for PSV. He is English, only 20 years old, and really his potential ability is quite good as well. So it does mean that he does stand a fairly good chance. And as I say, let's hope his pre-season comes back and does a fact. We'll have a look at some of the pre-season games in just a moment. Riyadh, we said, had gone out. Zach Henry's gone out. Liam Lord's gone to Wolves on for £1.8 million. So he's left us. Cardins has gone on loan to Bromley, and Rylan Brownell has gone on loan to Wellington Phoenix. They are all the transfers to date. We will bring you up to date when we do the next episode, if there's been any transfer activity in between. Yeah, let's have a quick look at pre-season then. With just this one game left to play, we'll quickly whip through these. As you'll see, Pino and Uche, a hat-trick for Uche in 21 minutes in this game against Wimbledon. And Dola, as you see, Undala, getting an assist and a goal in that game when he came on. He came on, I think that was the first time that we'd seen him. He was on this side, Mark. Ndola. He came on 56 minutes and but made one and scored one inside 2 minutes there. So yeah, looking quite good. Mansfield, here we go again. Did Ondola make a start in this one? Did Ondola came on at half time, had a mediocre game in that, but Jaden Dan's getting a brace. In fact, Jaden Dan's getting a hat-trick. Canvort and Mateta, the other scorers in that game, a 5-2 win against Mansfield. That was a good win. Wickham, Mateta and Dola. Mateta getting a brace, Yarami, Jason, Dan, Jaden Dans, Uche, Sa, everybody mixing in. Pino also playing well, and Guy also playing very, very well. Just two things to mention. Henderson started both those games and made mistakes in both. So since the Bristol Rovers game, Benitez has been in goal. And I mean, they were howlers. In fact, we'll go back and show you in just a moment. 2-1 against Bristol Rovers. Something I will come to in a moment, but was a little bit of a problem last season, and we'll try and eradicate it this season. And I'll show you how we're going to try and eradicate it. 2 up in this game after 38. They got one back on 39, and it was a pretty mediocre second half. But they played a flat back 3, so in effect 5 at the back, which did cause us all sorts of problems. Lons, Angori was the assist for Mateta in this one, and Dola not having such a good game. It was a toughy match against Lons, and we managed to squeak the win out of it. So that is our pre-season. If we go into tactics, I did say that we've set up, I haven't named it yet, but we've gone to this type of system to try and combat a flat back 3. And what we'll do is we will go to a flat back 3 ourselves, one defensive midfielder, one attacking midfielder, and then a front 3. And then out of position, what we'll do is we'll drop to a flat back 5 with 2 fullbacks, 2 defensive midfielders in front of them, and leave the other players. The only thing is it does leave quite a gap here, which I'm not too sure about. We may have to work that out. It may be that these drop back as well and leave Uche sort of up front, leading any counter attack. But we'll see how that goes. As it is at the moment, this is our normal setup in possession and out of possession, which has done us quite well through pre-season. Right, I think that has pretty much brought you up to date. We'll see how that all fathoms out in due course. As I say, we will have one more friendly to bring you up to date with when we get to the first episode of the new season, featuring Fulham and Liverpool, who we couldn't beat last season. Fulham, who we beat twice, 2-0 on both those occasions at their place, which is where we are this season on the opening day. Uche and Nketiah, the scorers, Nketiah providing one and scoring one in that game. And then in the in the home match, the scorers on that occasion were Mateta and Richards, Kamada and Davani with the assists. So we'll see how we get on. Right. Yes, I was going to show you the mistakes, wasn't I? And as you'll see, they passed the ball out. Long one forward. And Henderson comes out for it, and he's in no man's land. What is he doing? Gives the ball away. And that was a huge mistake against Wycombe Wanderers in that game. I think it was the previous game that he made a mistake in as well. And you'll see we played the ball out from a free kick deep on our own half. SA coming forward. Imre, who is one of our under-21s. We've been trying players out. SA, Imre, and ball given away. Evans fires this one forward. Henderson comes out, and what a mistake. He misses the ball completely, and Aduklin puts it away. And yeah, so with those two mistakes, we have done away with Henderson for now. As I say, we are looking at possibles for a replacement goalkeeper. More about that probably in the next episode. That is pretty much it for the end of season review and transfer special. We will come back, as I say, for Fulham and Liverpool in the next episode, and I hope you can join me for that. If you've enjoyed today's episode though, leave me that big thumbs up, subscribe, hit the notification button, do all the usual things. It helps me, it helps you, it keeps you up to date with all where Eagles Dare are released. And don't forget that new episodes of Where Eagles Dare will be released every Monday and Thursday at 4:15 p.m. I do apologise that this one's been late, and we will be back on tack for next Monday for the opening games of the new season. The best way keeping up to date what's happening on the channel is follow me on X at JustOffside2. Hope to see you for the next episode. Thank you for watching. Till next time. Goodbye.